Right, in this video we're going to do a review of the Skywell BE11. We're going to go end to end and have a look at it. Now, at the start of the video I'm going to do a quick summary of the good things, but the way I think about it is the car makers and manufacturers, they do a really good job telling you about all the good things about the car. But I will do that quickly, but I will focus more on the bad things, not because I think this is a terrible car or I want to rip it apart. I think that's what independent car journalists should do. So what is this? This is a Skywell BE11. Skywell is a relatively new Chinese car manufacturer. They come from Skyworth that used to make or do make consumer electronics, and another company called something Dragon something that make buses, and they've done a joint venture to make cars, and this is one of their first cars. Now, it's been for sale for a few years already, but it's now being imported into the UK by a company called Innovation Automotive that have kindly lent me the car. I don't know if they'll lend me another car, but they've lent this to me and said, Simon, can you do a review? So we are going to do a review. So it's a full electric, it's an EV, it's a battery EV. There is no hybrid, no petrol, no exhaust, no emissions. So that's really cool. And it's got a range of about 300 miles. So let's have a look at it. So I think they say it's a D segment. So it's quite big actually. So it's bigger than like a small crossover. It's quite a big car. So you can see we've got the charging points here, and it's got DC and AC charging, and it's got wheels that are round and alloy. Gloss over the fact the wheel nuts are rusting, but I did say we'll leave the bad bits till last. Don't know why they're rusting. Right. And so it's quite a nice looking car. It's got a really nice interior. The doors shut really nicely, so take a quick peek. It's got a really sporty looking interior. You got nice sport looking seats with orange piping. You got this wood trim. I quite like it all. It's a nice place to be. So they've lent this to me for a week. I've been driving it in and out of work, and I've quite enjoyed it. It's been quite nice. Some of the things I like is so we've also got the Tesla. Mrs. Powerful's got the Tesla Model 3 that I'm allowed to drive if I behave myself, and that's got twin motors and is ridiculously fast. But I've quite enjoyed driving this. It's less gimmicky and less gadgety than the Tesla. So the Tesla, you've got to use your wiper stalk to change gear, and it's all a bit weird, and there's no wiper controls. So you have to touch the screen to do everything and anything. This is much more in between a normal car and a Tesla. It's a happy medium. We have to turn it on with a button. We have to select the gear. We have to press it down. We can select all the gears here. So it's not quite as quirky as the Tesla. And I think for a lot of people that will be quite a good idea. We've got a selection of buttons. We haven't got hundreds, but we've got lots more physical buttons to turn things on and off. We've got two stalks with the wipers on, with the lights on. We've got steering wheel controls. So it's much easier to drive. It's not quite a bigger leap as going to that gadgety, weird, touchscreeny Tesla thing. So let's have a look. It's massive. It's got some tricky sound system. It's loud enough for me. I was more interested in other aspects of the vehicle. It's absolutely massive in the back. You have got the advantage of the flat floor. You haven't got a transmission tunnel. Now, interestingly, this car is a front-wheel drive car, and I think therein lies some of the problems that you will see. Now, our first Tesla Model 3 was a two-wheel drive. It had a motor at the back, and it drove the rear wheels. And after driving this car, I think that's a much better idea. And I think after this video, if you're thinking of an electric car, you will realise that a rear-wheel drive electric car is actually a much better idea. We've got a full-length sunroof, panoroof, and not only is it panoramic, it opens. It's got one of the biggest sunroofs in the world ever, apparently. I don't know if that's a big thing. I'm ginger, so I burn, so I'm not that worried, right? But really nice seats. I don't know if a cow died making this leather or it's just a sort of fake cow died. I don't know, but it's all nice. It smells nice. And it's got a funky 240 volt outlet at the back here with a sort of funky multi-plug thing. So you can charge a laptop or get your air fryer out when you're camping. We did do that video on that Maxus EV, but we haven't thought to that. You've got ISOFIX child seats, but whether you would put your child in this car is a matter we will see later on in the video. Right, let's take a look in the boot. You've got this funky rear light that all lights up, and it's got this sort of water effect. Now, I don't know if that's clever injection molding or whether it just leaks. Who knows? I think it just leaks. Right, okay, so we've got this. Now, it does have this foot gesture thing. Apparently, if you wave your foot around under here enough, it will open the tailgate. It's not very responsive, is it? What? The car's open? Oh, there you go. I don't know. So yeah, that's really handy, as you can see. Opens beautifully, no problem. Now, we did do a test. We did check how sensitive the electric windows were, and the tailgate, power tailgate, scared the EBGs out of me. And we had a carrot here to simulate a finger. I didn't do it with my finger, thank goodness. And it sliced the carrot in half. Close it, carrot in place. Oh, is he gonna crush it? Oh, that's your fingers gone. Now, is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. Maybe it's a carrot slicing machine. So you can see you've got a massive boot. It's huge. The car is massive. It's got I don't know what this is all about. And I think loads of dirt's going to get in there, but I wondered if you could sort of remove it. I did try, and it's sort of, maybe you could, when you're down McDonald's, you could get it out. What do you reckon, Alicia? And then you could like boom, boom, boom as you pull up. Don't know. But there's a sort of sub there. That's great. We've got some high-vis best. We've got a charging cable. It's quite cool that you've got somewhere for the charging cable. And there's even, look, you can put all your drugs and other stuff in that secret bit at the back there. Right, yeah, we've got a little thing. So, as you can see, it's a good car. It's got one advantage over the Tesla. It's got 360 cameras. The Tesla's got that. But the Tesla doesn't have a rear wash wipe thing. So it's got heated windows, brake lights, all the stuff you would expect. It's a really nice car. Right, shall we start to tear it apart and rip holes in it? Right, so actually I'll show you one more good thing before we go on to some of the bad things. So the doors close really nicely. It's got that sort of German car. Boom, it's really nice. Right, front wheel electric cars, the really good thing is that you get a frunk, because I know we've got a motor at the front, but let's have a look. The Tesla, our current Tesla, is dual motor, so it's got a motor at the front and back, and it's still got the same size frunk. So let's have a look. We've got where do we open the bonnet? Here we go. Let's open the bonnet. Now, the bonnet did disappoint me. It's super tinny. Sounds like an old barrel or something. I think they could have done with some sound deadening. It weighs enough, mine. No, I think they could have done with some sound deadening panels on here, but the car's quiet to drive, so maybe that's fixing a problem that doesn't exist, but it just gives that impression of sort of cheapness. Right, what the frunk? What the actual frunk? There is no frunk, look, this is all bolted down. So we are going to take this apart, because what is going on in there now? We've just had a word with the guys at the local MOT station, so we're going to put it up on the ramps and see what the actual frunk is going on here. But we've got some other real problems. We're going to take it out on the road, and the traction control on this thing is powered by a ZX Spectrum, because it takes so long to react. Your wheels are spinning and I'm chomping through the tyres. Now, I have commented on this to the guys at Innovation Automotive, and they said perhaps it is the tyres, or I need to adjust my driving style. But it alludes to a problem with the computational power and the programming that's actually quite alarming, I think. But you can decide and let me know. But we'll go into that after. Let's go to the garage and have a look underneath. Right, you join us under the Skywell car. So we can see the rear suspension here. So it's got some coil spring suspension here. It's got a nice anti-roll bar. It's got a nice long wishbone. There's lots of space here, obviously because the motor's at the front. So you've got a lot of space. You can see the battery is bolted in here. If you get up close there, Alicia, you can see all the information about the battery chemistry. So this is all battery, the full width of the car underneath. It's got a funny sort of non-stick rubbery something or other coating underneath. Now, unfortunately, we can't see a lot of action at the front. We have, and I think I'm pleased, we've got these weather guards coming over it all that not only weatherproof it, they keep it sort of aerodynamic and streamlined, but we can't see the motor at the front. We can see the front CV joints, but that's all we're going to see underneath. Right, so let's talk about this problem, this traction control problem I've got when we accelerate. So we're going to go out to a gravelly car park, but actually we might even do it on a normal road. As soon as I pull away, the wheel spins, and that's one of the problems we're going to talk about. There are several more issues I've got with the car and Skywell and all that stuff. Right, let's get it down off the ramps and take a look. Right, you join us as we're driving along. Let me turn the heating off. So as I said, we've got some solid buttons, which is quite handy. We've got CarPlay. Thumbs up for CarPlay. Your sat-nav will never be out of date because you've got your CarPlay installed. But check this out. This is a bit weird. So I don't know quite why they got two screens, but we can go back to the car here. Right now, there's not many apps here. Now, this is really annoying. When I go and use the touch screen, watch this, right? I'll just touch the screen and then I'm suddenly deleting the apps. Look, if I touch this now, it's going to delete this app. And it's going, are you sure? Now, they've got the timings all wrong. Look, I'll do it again. Look, you've only literally got to touch it for a second. And it's like, so that's all a bit flaky. And the sunroof is also a bit flaky. So there's two buttons up here. I've got to watch where I'm going and open the sunroof. Now, this button, I think, opens the, right now, you see there, it just opened it a bit. Now, hold on, it opened it a bit. Now, hold on, I'm going to, right, and then, but if you want to open it all in one, you'd think it would be one touch, but it doesn't work. But look, you've got to touch it really, really, really quickly. You've got to go like, and then it does it all in one. So all the things are a bit unintuitive. You've got to be really quick, and you've got to be like really quick on that. So maybe Chinese people have quicker reactions than me. Maybe I'm just an old goat. Who knows? Right, let's close that. We've just pulled over by the side of the road and we'll pull away. Now, as I pull away, see if you can hear the wheel spin. Now, it's horrendous. And what it seems to do is it'll spin one wheel, then it'll obviously apply the ABS to that. And then all the power goes to the other wheel. And then that one starts spinning. And it's sort of, now it's not because it's got huge amounts of power. It's got about 200 brake horsepower, which isn't too much. And its 0 to 60 time is about 9.3 seconds or something, which isn't that quick by electric car standards. So here we go, we're all clear. Right, let's see if we can wait for these lorries going the other, oh, we've got someone coming now, hold on. Right, here we go, we're all clear. Right, let's pull away. Oh, just a bit of wheel spin there, but not too much. Right, we'll go up to the gravel car park. And I don't think, now I have tried this in the Tesla and I can't get the wheels to spin as much in the Tesla. Now, it's really bad when I go round a corner because all the weight lifts off the inside wheel and then it gets all a bit weird. Right, careful, I'm not speeding 40 in a minute. Right, let's get up to the gravel car park. Right, so we've got to a little gravel car park here. Now I'm going to put a little white bit of tape there on the tyre and we will film it in slow-mo mode. We'll film it in normal speed first, and maybe the second time we'll see if we can do it in slow-mo and slow it down. And what we're looking is how many times this revolves before it gets grip. Now, we should be able to spin it, because this is, I mean, it's not pure gravel, but it's loose. But we've got the other side on tarmac, so we've got it half and half. So let's have a look how we go. So where should we film from? So you film from the side there at normal speed, Alicia. I've still got the mic on, so you should still be able to hear me. And I will try and pick up and just see what it looks like, and then we'll do it in slow-mo mode. Right. Thumbs up, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Right, front wheel drive, rear wheel drive. We all know some of the advantages and disadvantages, but with an electric car where you've got that massive initial torque, you've got the great potential for acceleration. Now, we all know, and it's quite intuitive, when you brake, all the weight goes to the front, you nosedive, and that's because the center of gravity acts at the middle of your car and the braking forces are between the ground and the tire, so you get what's called a couple, and it creates a motion that puts the weight onto the front wheel. So most of your braking is done on your front wheels. Now, the opposite happens when you accelerate. The accelerational force, whether it's front or rear wheel drive, is at the ground level. It's the tires on the ground. So your force going forward is at the bottom, but the center of gravity is up here, and that's what's pulling it back. So you get this opposite effect where when you accelerate, the bottom wants to go, and the top, the inertia holds it back. So all your weight goes onto the rear wheels. So one problem I think with this front wheel drive car is that as soon as you do that acceleration, that the front lifts a bit. And that's why I think for electric cars particularly, rear wheel drive is better. Now there is another advantage with rear wheel drive. Now it's my understanding, again, comment below if you think I'm wrong, is that rear wheel drive is more efficient because even though it's got independent rear suspension, the power is generally from the motor, or the diff it'll look like, straight out to the thing. Now as your suspension goes up and down, you've got a bit of angular change, but on a front wheel drive car, if your wheels are turned, there's quite a big angle as well as going up and down. And so I think there are more losses on a front wheel drive car than on a rear wheel drive car, which when you're looking at miles per kilowatt hour is not good. Now that leads us on to another disadvantage of this car. So the range is very good at 300 plus miles on a full charge. But on the Tesla, we are getting 4.8 miles per kilowatt hour. This car, for the same kilowatt hour of energy, will only give you 3.1 miles. So that is a huge difference. That's a 30+% difference in how far you can get, and also it's how much it costs, because you've got to pay for that electricity and it's not giving you as many miles. Now this is a bigger car than our Tesla Model 3. It's less aerodynamic, it's more SUV style, but a lot of it is also down to the Tesla, the way they use the heat pump for the heating, and I think the technology in the Tesla is a lot better for optimizing the miles per kilowatt hour. Right, one other thing, and this is quite another interesting electric car thing, is the brake pedal. So when you press the brake, the first bit of the brake on an electric car, that should start to engage the regeneration. So you start to slow down and it starts to put the kinetic energy of the car back into the battery. And so you always get a sort of first stage and second stage. But look how far this brake pedal goes down, right? So how far would you expect it to go down? That's the top. Look, there. I mean, it feels to me like it's on the floor. Look, it's going miles. Now, I know that you've got to have this separate area, but it feels like the hydraulic, they all have to somehow, once it's hit the electric switch, it should hit the hydraulics. So the first bit should be an electric switch and then onto the hydraulics. But that brake pedal travel scares the heebie-jeebies out of me. Right, let's have a look at some other things. So when you get in your car, you open your door, keyless entry, all very good, hunky-dory. You sit in it, nothing happens. Now, a lot of cars will start to power up the systems and give you a welcome screen. Now, this car does none of it. Now, you could say that's really good. Maybe it's saving its power, which I wish it would do on the Defender sometimes. Right, but then you've actually got to press this start button. Now, okay, and it boots up and it's all there. But what's really annoying is I've often been for a drive, you go for a drive, you put it in gear, hold on, is it going to go in gear? Probably because I haven't got my seatbelts on. You come back, you press park, you get out again, you close the door, and I came back an hour later and everything was still on. And I thought, what? How did that happen? But unless you remember to turn it off, the car stays awake. It didn't even have a power down. So bear in mind, it's got an occupancy sensor on the driver's seat. It would know I'm not in the car. It would know the door has been open and closed. Now, I hadn't locked it. I just walked to it at work. I just shut the door and walked away. Now, the Tesla will actually power it down, lock itself. It will do everything. But this car just stayed there awake, burning up range, having everything on. Without me intervening or bipping or doing anything. So I thought that was not optimal. Right, look, my phone, I'm on 27% charge and I got to do a few messages by the looks of stuff. Right, but look, where's a wireless charger? Where would be a good place for a wireless charger? Maybe here, maybe, let's have a look in here. That might have been a good place here. Look where they decided to put the wireless charger. You've got to put it under here. Now, would I go in from this side? Well, I could possibly get it in under there, could I? But it is the most now, I know they don't want you to use your phone while you're driving, But goodness me, that's like playing hide and seek with your phone. You're never going to remember it's there, for starters. You're never going to know if it's actually charging. So I didn't think that, and they haven't got two, have they? There's just one there. They haven't got his and hers. That's going to lead to fights. There are USB chargers in the back. We haven't got any USB chargers in the front, have we? No. Not that I can see. They've got this weird little twiddly thing here that I've got no idea what it twiddles. Luckily not the ejector seat, it appears. Right, so this car has got a monstrous 7-year warranty, 100,000 miles, and the battery's got 8 years and 155,000 miles of warranty. So you're not going to be worried about, you can buy this car and you will have no worries. You've just got to put tyres, quite a lot of tyres I reckon, whether it's traction control, put tyres on it, charge it up, and your motoring costs are sort of covered. You're not worried about it breaking down because Skywell will fix it for you because of the warranty. And that's sort of good. But it does worry me with a new car brand. Now, it's a new car brand into the UK. Now, I'm sure in China, the mother company has got loads of money, clearly because they've developed the car. But I don't know whether Innovation Automotive are underwriting the warranty and they're a UK company and they're fairly new, and I've looked at their financials and I'm not sure how safe that's going to be. And all the people that went out and bought a Fisker, now Fisker's closed, what worth is their warranty? It's worthless. There are a couple of Fiskers on Copart at the moment. I'm half tempted to buy one because they're super cheap. So, right, have we talked about price yet, Alicia? We haven't mentioned price, have we? So this car is £40,000, £39,000. So that's a chunk of money. I think that's similar to Tesla Model 3 money. It's in that ballpark. You can get the new Ford Explorer, I think, for about the same money. So one thing you'll be thinking about is, okay, I've got the warranty, you know, how stable is the company, how stable is Innovation Automotive, and then what is the resale value going to be? And the other thing I was going to do but ran out of time is that I was going to ring them up. We might be able to do it now. Should we do it now quickly? And ring them up and say, look, we've got this car. We'll give them the number plate and say, I've just damaged the wheel. How quickly can you get me a wheel? Because, okay, they're selling the cars, but if you have an accident or, you know, buckle a wheel, then how long is your car going to be off the road? Because your car's off the road. It's that, you know, just because it's under warranty, it's your fault. You know, what are you going to do for replacement transport? And if it's they're going to have to ship it from China. Now, they say they've got stocks of UK parts, but how much is a wheel? And how long will it take to come? Let's see if we can ring them quickly. Right, we're calling the dealer now. Oh, is it going to come out of this? I got my volume up. Got it.
For sales, press 1. And for service and parts, press 2.
We're on 2. Right, the nearest...
Well, Max is Kevin speaking.
Yeah, wonder if you can help me. I've got a Skywell BE11 and I borrowed it off a friend and I just curbed it and like scratched the wheel. I'm just wondering how much and what would be the lead time of getting a wheel. Right, there was a couple of things that was a bit disappointing. So as this is launched in part by this consumer electronics company, the car in China is connected and it's got an app and you can do things like preheat your car. So on a cold morning, it's warm to get into. And that'll be really handy in this car because it doesn't have a heated steering wheel and it doesn't have heated seats. And in the morning, it was icy the other morning and I was cold. And I thought it'd be really good. Now, it's really annoying because the UK importer is not releasing the app, and the only app I can find, and there is a Skywell app, and I downloaded it. I'll show you it now on my phone. Here you go, Skywell app. I thought, that's all right, I'll set this up, I'll get it. But it's all in Russian, and there's no way, and I wrote to the app developer, and they didn't reply, and I asked Innovation Automotive, and they said, no, it's only available in Russian, and probably doesn't work. So this car is not connected. There is no internet connection for this car. They are not paying for any data services. Now there's an SOS button here. Now I did press it the other day and I don't think it does anything because the car's not connected to the internet or anything. So look, I'm pressing it and I'm not feeling, no one's coming to tell me I've got nothing on the dash. So It's a bit disappointing. It's like you've got sort of half of the car. It's like it can do so much more, but you're not being able to use it because the importer hasn't programmed the app. There's no app use. Now, whether they plan to do that in the future, I don't know. But that was a bit of a negative for me, particularly the other morning where I wanted. And on the app, you can see where your car is. You can lock it, unlock it, preheat it, see your journeys, do all that normal stuff that's quite handy to do with a phone app and a connected car. But this is not a connected car. And also, it cannot do software over the air. Now, we love our Defender because it's 3.5 years old, and Land Rover still send us all the latest software updates, so it's bang up to date, any improvements or safety. So for example, if the ZX Spectrum that's powering the traction control on this car, if they can work out how to make it work a bit better and stop that wheel spinning, then maybe they could send software over the air update. Now again, I might be wrong, and Innovation Automotive can correct me. This car does not appear to be connected to the internet in any way other than my phone and CarPlay. So it can't send software over the air updates. So we did ring up about the part now, and the guy is going to ring me back. He seemed a little sort of, oh, okay, yeah, a wheel for the car. So we'll see what he says. He's going to call me back, see what the price and availability of a wheel is. So Skywell in China are not doing so well. The competition now, we've got companies like BYD are doing really well. They're doing well in the UK and in China. So Skywell as a brand, but we've just been to the MOT station with this car, and the guy said the car's nice. And I've enjoyed driving it this week, and it's been very kind of the guys to lend me a car for the week, and I will give it back clean and I will fully charge it and everything. And I would love to say the car is perfect, but the trouble is, I think as an independent journalist, automotive journalism is kind of tricky, because if you say anything horrible about the car, they won't give you a car again, and no one will give you a car again. But then you just end up with automotive journalists just saying how brilliant all these cars are. And I think I need to challenge it, and if I see something that could be improved, I'd like to raise it, which may help them. So there we go. Is that the review of, have we finished that, Alicia?
Yeah.
Is that the review of our car? No, we're going to look under the front. We'll drive back now, and we'll get Alicia to look under the front and see what's under that. Right. Here's another little bug, right? Is it a bug? I don't know. Is it? Right, that is NX still, but right, so that would say the electronic stability control is off. You agree with me on this, Alicia?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, now if I press it, I can't press it. Right, can you see that very faint little line underneath? Now, does that mean the electronic stability control off is now off? Or does that mean it's on or off? Now, bear in mind, these are all soft buttons. So as we change the display, this all goes. So if I go onto here, right, so all this disappears. So this is all complete. How do I get out of this screen now? Oh, now we've gone on to cameras. I don't know how to exit cameras. So these are soft buttons. So could it not like tell you now the electronic stability control is on? It's weird because I don't know. Is that off? But that is actually now on. So the electronic stability control is now on, and that is now off, just in case you get confused. Right, let's crack on. Right, we've just had a look here, and we're just going to undo these bits. Alicia's just gone to get the socket, look. And then for the record, look, there's not a fixing in there, look. So the quality control, and it doesn't seem to line up very well. But there we go, let's whoop that on. I just want to see if we can see the motor and what we've got under here. While Alicia takes that off, there was a feature on the Chinese model, I'll put a screenshot on, called lunch break mode, Alicia. And you could apparently press a button and it would recline the seat and it would go flat, and you could just chill at lunchtime, which would be cool, wouldn't it? But I checked with the guys, and apparently no lunch break mode in the UK. Apparently no lunch breaks. Now that's got what? Oh, now there's another interesting bit of English on the. It said the seats did something other to, so you could maximise your Simons. Now, I don't even know what the word means. I googled it and there is no such word, unless they were referring to me. I don't know. I'll put it on the screen. Let me know. Oh, and one last thing. This car was Euro NCAP tested in China some years ago, and it only got a 1-star review. So, and it was worse. I'll put a little screenshot for side impact protection. But the guys at Innovation Automotive tell me the car has been improved and has now met a 5-star, but I haven't seen a link to the review of the 5-star import. Now, right, so because this is going to be imported in low volume, I think it's like the Ineos Grenadier, where they don't actually need to do the NCAP testing. But if I get an update on the NCAP one, I will put it in the bottom below. Right, we've nearly got this off. We're wrestling it. Right, so there we have it. There is so we can just about see we've got a motor underneath. We've got all the high voltage electrics all at the front here. You've got your 12 volt, probably a 12 volt battery there that does you. So it's all fairly conventional looking, but you've got no frunk, which is a shame because we were talking about the charging cable. So if you've got a wet, dirty charging cable, you've got to get your luggage out the boot to lift up that boot floor to put your charging cable back in the boot floor. Whereas if you've got a frunk, you can leave the dog, the kids, the luggage in the boot, just open your frunk and put it there. So it would have been cool if they had some frunk, because it is a big car. It's almost like they've designed it to have the option of being hybrid or have more stuff in the front here. But there we go. That's enough on the Skywell BE11. They are bringing out a new car called the Skywell Q, and that looks like it's going to be more advanced and more interesting, but I'm not sure they're going to lend me one again. But hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, let me know your comments. All right, good luck.